We're up to chapter 17, verse 16. Vayidaber Hashem al Moshe Lemar. God spoke to Moshe, saying, Daber al b'nei Yisrael, v'kach me'itam. Speak to the children of Israel and take from them matem matel abesav, a staff from each family, me'eit kol nesiyayim, from all their princes, b'beit avotam, shnei masar matot, ish et shemot tachtov hamateu. Okay, so Hashem said to Moshe, speak to the children of Israel and tell each of them to take a staff from all of their princes, according to their father's home, 12 staffs, and each one should write his name on his staff. So far, we haven't seen no Rashi on this yet. Bet Shem Aaron Techtov al Matei Levi, and the name of Aaron you should write on the tribe of Levi, Ki Mateh Echad LeRosh Beit Avotam, because there is one staff for the head of their father's house. So each tribe gets one staff, and the staff of Levi is going to be Aaron. Now, what's the explanation of the Rashi? Rashi says, Ki Mateh Echad. Rashi says, even though God divided up the tribe of Levi into Leviim and Kohanim, it's still one tribe. So the tribe of Levi, the staff belongs to Aaron, and Aaron's name is being written on the staff. Of course, we know whenever we read about a staff, we know about the staff of Moshe, and so now we're learning about the staff of Aaron. The staff of Aaron is actually going to be more eternal than the staff of Moshe. We don't really hear about the staff of Moshe, but the staff of Aaron, you'll see, is going to be guarded forever. So it's an eternal staff. So look what happens. Pasuk Yotes, V'nachtam ba'ol moed. Place all the staves in the ol moed with nei edus, in front of the edus, the testimony. Asher yivaed lachem shama. And that's where I'm meeting with you here. So Hashem says, take all the staffs and place them in the ol moed. V'ayah ish asher avcharbo mateo yifrach. A person whom I will choose, his staff will flower, blossom. Vashikoti me'alayas tulnos b'nei Yisrael, and they shall cause to shikosi. Rashi says it comes from the word vayashoku amayim, like the water subsided, or in the book of Esther, v'chamas hamelach shachacha, the king's anger abated. So he says, I will cause to abate from me all the complaints of the children of Israel, asher heim malinim alechem, which they're complaining against you. So it wasn't enough. Why is this even needed? Aaron had just stopped the plague. There was a plague, and Aaron ran into the plague and stopped it with his incense. So why does he need more? But I guess it wasn't enough. Even when you could have overwhelming evidence, it's not always enough. And this, you'll see, whichever one blossoms, Aaron's was going to be the one that blossoms, and I'm going to cause everybody to stop complaining about you. Vayidaber Moshe b'nei Yisrael, vayinu elav kol nesiyayim, matel and asi echad mateh, and asi echad levesav asam shnei masar matos mateh Aaron b'toch matosam. So Moshe spoke to Bnei Israel, and each of the princes gave him a staff for each prince, one staff from each tribe, 12 staffs, umateh Aaron b'toch matosam. And the staff of Aaron was in the middle of their staffs. Rashi says, Yinicho ba'emtze, specifically placed it in the middle. Shelo yomru mimnei she'yinicho b'tzad shlina. So they don't want to say, he said, he's putting in the middle. So you can't say without, that the evidence is that it's not a good test because he put it towards the edge. So he doesn't want to say that. So he's saying, I put it in the middle. How are you doing, Reb Aaron? Every day is a bracha. Do you know how to take down a tree? We got a tree in the backyard. We could hire you to take down the tree.
I don't have a lot of experience in that, so try.
It's very dangerous, probably, if you don't have experience, right, Alan?
Yes.
Yeah, you could fall. Taking down trees, right? Yeah, I don't recommend it. You got to climb up with like spikes. I was joking. All right, so. Okay, so he said, Rashi says he puts a stick in the middle, he puts Aaron's stick in the middle, so people shouldn't claim, oh, your stick was by the end, that's why it was closer to the Shekhinah, that's why it was victorious. Moshe and Moshe placed the staffs before God in the Ohel Haidus. Moshe placed the staffs before God in the Ohel Haidus. We're in chapter 17, verse 23. It was the next day. Moshe came to the Ohel Haidus. Behold, the staff of Aaron from the tribe of Levi had blossomed. Vayotze Perach, and a bud came forth. Vayatzetz tzitz, and it sprouted a bud. Vayigmol shekedim, it developed almonds. Why almonds? So let's first see what Rashi says. Vayotze Perach kemashma'o, as it sounds.
Almonds grow fast. So
almonds grow fast? Is that what they say?
I think so. Is that like it'd be less than
Not that fast.
That's what Rashi's going to say, exactly like Moshe. We're going to get to Moshe's point that's made in Rashi. All right, very good, Moshe. Rashi's going to say what Moshe says, but you'll see what he says. Usually not that fast, not overnight. I don't imagine. I've never seen an almond growing overnight. But first thing, we have to go in order. The first Rashi says, Kamash Ma'o, means to say, there's three stages of the blossoming. There's it's budding, there's blossoming, then a bud, which is when the fruit starts to come forth. So first is the flower, then the fruit, and then the fruit buds, and then the actual fruit. And it all happened. That's what Rashi says. Basically, what happened was Vayotze Perach, first the flower, then Vayotze Tzitz, then it budded, and then it was almonds. Rashi says, Chanata, the tzitz is the Chanata Sapri. Kisha Perach no fell, when the flower falls away. Rabbi Yosef said, for some reason I had a mind freeze, and I said, oh, this week is Chukas. It's obviously Korach, which we've been studying all week. But now this gives also support to connecting it with Shalach. Because what did Shalach end with? The passage of tzitzis. And what was the complaint against Moshe? That Korach said about tzitzis. And so now all of a sudden we see this again. Tzitz is when that's what recognized Aaron's fruit, Aaron's staff as the best staff because it began to bud. And now we say it grew almonds, and Rashi tells us why, as Moshe pointed out here. Kishehukar apri, hukar shehin shekedim. When the fruit became identifiable, it became identified as almonds. An expression of vayigdal hayeled vayigamel. Vayigdal hayeled vayigamel. The word vayigamel means weaned, and so therefore, this wording is also in the fruit of a tree. Uvoser gomel yanitza. So therefore, this is what happens, that the fruit became, it budded and it turned, vayigmol, Rashi is telling us, is when a fruit develops, just like it's when a child develops, also when a fruit develops. Why almonds? Rashi says, this is the fruit that most quickly blossoms, Mikoa Peiros, from all the other fruits. Kahuna, so too somebody who challenges the kahuna, if you challenge the kahuna, you'll quickly be destroyed. Like we find by Uzziah. Moshe Matzina Uzziah, Vatzaras Zarcha v'Mitzchel. That Uzziah, when he was angry at the Kohanim, the Tzaras jumped forth on his forehead. Immediately jumped forth on his forehead. Targumo, and the Unkla says that what's Vayigmol Shkedim Vikapit Shigdin. It bound almonds. I mean Eshkol Shkedim Yachad. Ifutim Zeh. It bound the almonds one on top of the other. Vayotze Moshe et Kol Hamatot Mufnei Hashem, and Moshe brought out all the staffs before God. Al Kol Bnei Yisrael, towards the children of Israel. Vayiru vayichu ish mateo, and each one took his staff back. Vayomer Hashem. Okay, so I mean, I'm still interested in the almonds, but maybe we'll go into that more in the shir tomorrow morning at 12:30. So this is the staff of Aaron. Now we're going to see what you're supposed to do with that staff. Vayomer Hashem al Moshe. God says to Moshe, Hasheves matei Aaron lefnei ha'idus ha'mishmeres va'os lefnei Mary utachaltu nasamei alai v'oyamusu. So Hashem said to Moshe, return the staff of Aaron, place the staff of Aaron before the Ol Moed lefnei ha'idus, but here it's not the Ol Moed. Here it's before the Luchos ha'mishmeres va'os lefnei Mary. As there'll be a sign for those who rebel, and their complaints will be wiped away, so they do not die. Rashi says, "L'mishmeres la'os v'zikaron shebacharti be'aron l'kohen v'lo yalinu od al kohen." So this is what I was saying before. It's so ironic that Moshe's staff is the most famous staff. Moshe's staff is what split the sea. It's the staff that brought the plagues, but the staff that was preserved forever in front of the Luchos is the staff of Aaron, not the staff of Moshe. And the staff of Aaron will be a mishmeres. We have to keep it there in the ark. What was in the ark? In the ark was the broken tablets and the staff of Aaron. That's what it says right here. Keep it as a remembrance. Keep it. Yes, sir.
Again, I kind of came in the middle, but do we know like Korach's like thought process about like what he wanted like get out of like arguing with Moshe? Like, did he want to take over or like just like
there was a number of things that Korach threw a lot of different arguments at the Bnei Yisrael, at Moshe. He threw the argument that he said we're all holy. He said I should be promoted. He wanted to make a rebellion, but you're correct. It's not 100% clear what his end game was. He said to Moshe, Rav Lachem, you've taken too much authority for yourself. He wanted, but he didn't. It's not necessarily clear that he wanted to replace Moshe. Rashi says he wanted to replace Aaron. That he says, why was Aaron the Kohen? But it never says directly. I mean, we'll go back for a moment. It seems, and this is probably why. Your question is raising a very good point. He challenges Moshe, Moshe gal Aaron. He challenges Moshe and Aaron, but Rashi seems to understand that it was really an attack more on Aaron than Moshe.
So you wanted to do like the avoda?
That's what Rashi says. He says, why did you give the priesthood to Aaron? But it's not 100% clear from the text that was his complaint. And this passage here indicates that Aaron was under attack, because from the beginning of the parsha it seems like it was attack on Moshe and Aaron, but here it seems like there was attack primarily on Aaron, and that's why he needed this special defense.
With the staffs?
Yeah, with the staffs.
thought it was because he felt entitled to, because he was like next in line. He was also a lead.
So that's what Rashi says yesterday, that he said, I was passed over, I should have been the Kohen. But actually the Nasi. I should have been the Nasi. Why did you give the Nasi? Rashi said that yesterday. Why did you give the Nasi to he says,
Son of
what
Uziel.
he said, Shem for Moshe, he was jealous, but Elitzaphan ben Uziel, Moshe made him the Nasi over Korach. But earlier, Rashi says that he was upset that he appointed Aaron to be the Kohen Gadol. So
So Rabbi, that's exactly what I was going to say, that Nasi Nasiya Levi in the test of the Matot is Aaron instead of Elitzaphan. So it's a little bit confusing. And also, we just read that that Moshe did Kasher Diber Hashem, like, that's a very common Vayas Moshe Kasher Tziva Hashem. But in verse 22, in verse Kaf Bet, it says totally different words. It could have just said that Moshe did like Hashem said. It says, Vayanach Moshe et hamatot lifnei Hashem be'ol ha'edut. It's exactly what Hashem told him to do.
I don't understand your question. So say it.
In verse Kaf Bet 22, it says, Vayanach Moshe et hamatot lifnei Hashem be'ol ha'edut, instead of just Vayas Moshe kasher tziva Hashem.
So what's your point?
Just that maybe he's even confusing them in the oration of this test, because Aaron wasn't Nasi Levi, and Moshe is proving to this.
But Korach is gone by this point. Korach is gone. But
the Kas was still there, right?
Yeah. Okay, I mean, yeah. Let's read the whole passage. It could be. Let's see what it says. I don't know. I have to think about what you're saying, Rabbi Yosef. So he says, you have to keep this staff as a sign that I chose Aaron. But will you go to Odal Kuna? They're not going to challenge the Kuna anymore. So I think like one of the first things they got rid of in the liberal denominations was they got rid of the kahuna. They got rid of the kahuna. They said nobody should be a Kohen anymore. I don't know. I don't really dive in the liberal denominations, but I think they got rid of the kahuna. I know they don't do the priestly blessings, so they got rid of it. But that's exactly Korach's argument. That why should Aaron be the Kohen? With the Chal Tunasam. So this staff will end their complaints. Hold on 1 second. Okay, this staff shall end their complaints. Like, put an end to their complaining. Lashon zeh. In French, it's murmur-dies. To murmur. Okay. Okay, so fine. Vayas Moshe kasher tiva Hashem osel kenaso. Moshe did just like God commanded. Vayomer b'nei Yisrael Moshe lemor hin avanu kulanu avanu. Will perish. How you doing, Colby? Did you grab a chumash on your way in? You're gonna get it. What are you eating? I want to know so I can buy more of it.
The English muffins.
From the freezer downstairs? Solid. I'll get more. Right? So Vayomru b'nei Yisrael Moshe. So the children b'nei Yisrael said to Moshe, saying, Hinga avanu avanu kuanu avanu. We're going to die. We're going to perish. We're all lost. Ko hakarev hakarev al mishkan Hashem yamus. Whoever comes close to the Mishkan will die. I am tamnu ligvoa. So this is such a strange reaction. They're saying we're all going to die. Whoever comes close to the Mishkan will die. Why are they saying this? Why are they saying this? It seems so random and out of place. You see the question, Moshe? All of a sudden, we've seen Aaron's staff is selected as the best one. Say, don't complain about Aaron. Now all of a sudden, people are saying we're going to die. We're going to die. What's going on here? So, what's going on? So Rashi says, Ein oni yichol lios zihirim b'kach. we're not able, because the pasuk says everyone who comes too close to the Mishkan will die. Because Rashi has just said, Moshe has just said that if you complain, you'll die. And now they're saying if we come too close, we're going to die. So if one person comes too close, is he going to die? Are we all doomed to death? Are we doomed to death? So this is strange passage. It seems like, so you follow the question, Aaron? It's like from out of nowhere, this question. Yeah.
Well, they'd see they were wrong and they were angry.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with coming too close into the courtyard? All of a sudden they're saying that we're going to come too close into the courtyard. So you're saying is, but they're not saying we were wrong. They're saying we can't prevent ourselves from coming too close. That's what they're saying, that we can't prevent ourselves from coming too close.
Rabbi,
Yes.
do you think they're worried that if they get too close, they're going to die spiritually? Because the Mishkan is going to lose its power? Well, the Shekhinah is going to lose it.
It's a
go
very
away.
powerful thought. I'm not sure. I have to like process that. It
Well,
definitely,
the whole thing about
definitely-
Korach is he's disrupting the unity of the people. That his complaints are causing the people to not be together in their thoughts and their actions, or he's causing concern.
yeah, I like that. So
And
that's what
then
you're saying.
go ahead.
No, I'm hearing what you're saying. It just seems like this paragraph is just out of place.
Well, maybe not out of place, but don't we have to go to Gemara to get more answers? We can't get all the answers right here, but
Yeah,
there's a parallel to Gan Eden here.
for sure.
Sorry, I've been studying this in Tanya, so
Yeah.
it's a different take on it. Not different, but we're talking about losing the Shekhinah from the Mishkan.
So maybe that's what they were worried about. You have to read it on a deep level.
The Shekhinah is going into Galut with us, and so the end result is here we are.
Gotcha.
And also Mount Sinai. So it's about boundaries, and I guess because of all these tests, they were mixed up. Like, are we allowed to be in the Mishkan? Yes. How close? And like these boundaries, and then the matot. Like, it's very confusing.
Yeah.
The Mishkan has only been built now for a few months, right? Just if we go according to the chronology, Aaron is still alive, so we're not in the 40th year. Right? We're in the second year supposedly, so they had Mount Sinai, and Moshe was told to go back down and warn them again, even though he already warned them. He himself said to Hashem, "I already told them that they can't touch the mountain," but Hashem said, "Go down again."
So now
So
he's being warned about not to come too close to the only problem with all of that, and with this we have to stop. The only problem with that is it's just out of context because there wasn't a commandment here not to come close. There was a commandment not to complain. But everything you're saying is right. But all right, let's stop here. I need to call someone just to make sure we get the minyan. All right, Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. We'll
Thank
stop
you.
here. Take care, Shkoyach.